everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Spencer, and then that's our licensed clinical therapist, Nazir. All right. That's the theme of the show, and this is the Different Spectrums podcast.
Yep.
Yes, we talk about mental health, but we also have some funnies in there. We have some funnies, so don't take us too seriously. Also, please run up our likes on this video and our other videos, please. Subscribe and share and comment what you'd like us to view next. So, yeah. With that, today we're on a Stranger Things kick, as you can tell.
You play with nipples?
Yep, my nipples are hard for this
Eddie.
scene. I mean, who wouldn't? So today we're taking a look. We're actually just deep diving into Eddie, just the character of Eddie. We have 3 scenes today. One being the beginning where we meet Eddie. The second where Eddie's just rocking out, and then his finale. I won't ruin it for you.
Jesus.
So yeah, we're gonna be taking a look at those. 1 or 2 are just gonna be reels, but we're definitely gonna have the rock scene and probably gonna have the death scene too. So
right.
Yeah, Nazir. Anything before we get into the clips?
I think today, if we can stay on track and remember, is we're going to talk about. He talks about quickly conformity in this. He talks about being odd. Me and Spence talked about him being an outcast,
Yes.
seen as a freak. This and that. We're going to talk about little Dungeons and Dragons, neurodivergent stuff. And then we'll talk about like the story arc and confidence and standing your ground finally and having the ability to change. So we're gonna have some fun with this, and we're just gonna kind of nerd out of the rock scene. It was just, to me, it was just intense and fun. So yeah, let's check it out. Thanks folks for watching, subscribing, paying attention, the shorts, the reels, the TikToks. We appreciate it. Also know that you're more than welcome to be one of our sponsors on Anchor. We much appreciate it on Spotify. Anything helps. Okay.
Do it.
Let's do a little ad. Let's get into the clip. Let's check it out.
Whoop whoop.
Done.
Dungeons and Dragons. At first regarded as a harmless game of make-believe, now has both parents and psychologists concerned. Studies have linked violent behavior to the game, saying it promotes satanic worship, ritual sacrifice, sodomy, suicide, and even murder.
Shit, he seems really revved up today.
He's always revved up. We'll just act casual. Casual.
Right. Okay. Totally.
Society has to blame something. We're an easy target.
Exactly. We're the freaks because we like to play a fantasy game.
But as long as you're into band, or science, or parties, or a game where you toss balls into laundry baskets,
You want something, freak?
Prick. It's forced conformity.
that's what's killing the kids!
That's the real monster.
Copy that. Initiating phase 3. Let's hope they hear this.
Chrissy, this is for real.
Oh, God. Oh, God, Eddie.
Bad, huh?
No. You're gonna be fine. We just gotta get you to a hospital, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Come on. I just need a second, okay? Okay. I didn't run away this time, right?
No. You didn't run.
You're gonna have to look after those little sheep for me, okay?
No, you're gonna do that yourself.
Nah, man. Say I'm gonna look after them. Say it.
I'm gonna look after.
Good. Does it match look to graduate? I think it's my year, Anderson. I think it's finally my year. I love you, man.
I love you too. Eddie. Eddie. Come on. Eddie!
And we're back. First off, subscribe, people. Subscribe to our page. Right down there. Right there. He's
Right down
pointing at it.
yonder.
He's probably missing it, but
Right
you know
down
what? That's okay.
yonder. Right there.
Yeah. Whenever you question that you're gay, I'm just like, dude. You
I
don't have to
Googled it the
question.
other day. It took me to a page that said, if you're Googling if you're gay, you're gay. I was like, oh, okay.
Damn it. Damn these fingers for typing it.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So a little bit of backstory about Eddie. So as we see in our first clip, he talks about how he's like the leader of the Dungeons and Dragons group in the Hawkins High School. This is where our main protagonists are part of the Dungeon and Dragons League or whatever. And he's an outcast. He's not part of the normal people, the normals, the normies, as we call them. Yeah, and then one day he witnesses, I think it was Chrissy, I forgot her fucking name, getting murdered by Vecna. But people think that Eddie was the one that murdered her, and they also think that he's the murderer for all these other people that died, so they think he's a serial killer. So then he runs away, goes into hiding, and then so the group of people that I forgot what their like group name is, the main characters, they're trying to find Eddie to try and clear his name because they know that it was, you know, Vecna. And so skip to when we see the music, him rocking out. They're trying to distract those bats from the house so that then they can infiltrate the house and save Maxine / kill Vecna.
Yep.
And then Eddie goes and chases away the bats by making them follow him. And then that's where we hit our last scene where Eddie is dying because he sacrificed himself and he didn't run away. Not this time.
Sad.
Also, he was, I think he was like held back like 2 or 3 years, something like that.
I think he said something like that. Yep.
Yeah. And so this was his year to finally graduate.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw the scene, I almost cried because he was just such a lovable boy. Such a And plus, he had such a great rock scene. I was just
He did.
so many levels of emotions. It was like highs and lows.
High,
right there.
big high, and then a few minutes later, right, then he dies, and then it cuts to the girl dying right after that, like we were just watching. It's like, Jesus Christ. Then they're playing that really sad music too, and it's like, oh, come on, man.
I know. I guess for me, one of it sucks for Eddie because in the public light, he's seen as a serial killer and as a freak who worships
Drug
the
dealer
devil.
too.
That's what they think. Well, yeah, and drug dealer. But then the villain of the season, the white quarterback or whatever,
Point guard.
Point guard. He's seen as like the good guy who's on Jesus's side.
Yeah.
He's got Jesus on his side, even though he's beating up little kids and chasing them down.
Yep.
And ready to murder. He's literally ready to murder. And he was going through some form of psychosis because he was going crazy.
Did you see his eyes towards the end there? He looked like he was a Sith Lord. Like he literally looked like he was a Sith. It was intense.
Yeah. And so now people don't know that Eddie actually, helped save the world with his sacrifice. Only a few people know. And that makes it even more sad because nobody believes that Eddie was a good person, even though he was.
They say that's actually one of the purest forms of altruism. It's like giving and not expecting or receiving anything back. Mm-hmm. Is that, if you do these things, these philanthropic things, that you're not looking for your name to be publicized, this and that. It's kind of like how we just did a scene on Hardball. And Keanu Reeves has been making mass donations for years for tons of different philanthropy and tons of different projects, funding a lot of stuff. Can't come up with it off my head right now, but I know that it never really came up, and he doesn't want anyone to know. So Eddie, no one will ever know. That's one of the greatest sacrifices that you can do.
Right.
I'm glad that he told the little homie told his uncle. That way his uncle got some closure, and he cried. That was an intense cry between them two. Right.
Yeah,
your nephew died a hero. And I was like,
His son's bitch.
It was intense because he knew that his nephew was a good kid. Yeah. He's like, my boy wouldn't do nothing like this, man. He's a good boy. He he's goofy, this and that, but he wouldn't hurt nobody. And then you think he's a murderer? Come on, man.
Right. So kind of leading into that, we want to talk about outcasts and how maybe we judge people a little bit too much on their external selves. Like you saw in the first scene, Eddie was kind of acting like, he was trying to be funny and everything like that, and just trying to get that attention. But then later on, we just see him and Chrissy trying to have like a moment and being like, hey, like, what's going on with you? You seem weird. But yeah, and then we see Chrissy, who seems like she has it all put together, but inside she's, being tormented by not only like a monster, but also by like her past like fears, I guess.
Yeah, past fears, traumas, guilt, shames.
Past traumas. I would say traumas. Yes, correct. So kind of going back on the outcasts, since you have such a setting where people get to be themselves with you, what do you see a lot with outcasts from your point of view?
They internalize being weird, different, odd. Like hell, we even talked about it with Vecna in the last episode. Right, you get persecuted against so much that you begin to believe it. So that's what I end up seeing is all these humans that just internalize it and then full on believe it. I was working with some humans recently, man. Same thing. They're like, man, I don't think I love myself. And I'm like, let's actually break this down. I think you do love yourself in many different ways. You may not like yourself a lot of times. Like, shit, I don't even like myself. Matter of fact, I kind of hate myself most of the time. And then she was like, what? Oh, damn. Yeah. I'm trash.
You need a hug, bro?
Yeah, you need a hug, motherfucker? No, I don't touch people. Jesus. Um, and so we end up normalizing a lot of different things and how this became an issue and how
Right.
these outcasts, these people that were unlovable, end up getting the boundaries pushed. And I said, if you didn't love yourself, you would allow people to use you in more ways, mentally,
Right.
physically, emotionally, sexually, financially. But you're pretty good at that. You go on these trips, you do excursions, you eat good food, you get good sleep, you're doing a PhD. There's so many things that you're doing. You do love yourself. But there is some weird stuff in there because you are an outcast, because you don't fit in, and why you feel lonely even when you're surrounded by others in a social setting. So it goes a lot in being an outcast, and folks on the spectrum
Right.
usually identify with that big time, big time.
Right. All right. Kind of going back, like we see that, like the captain of the basketball team, he seems like he's put together,
He's
but
the
then
guy.
we realize that like that dude's fucked up. Like he's thinking that these are all devil worshippers that are like just going around killing people, and
Yep.
he even gets like the townspeople to turn into a mob.
Yep.
Like so
Shows
he has that influence.
a lot of influence, a lot of being able to woo people. He actually has a little bit of Vecna in him, that sociopathy, that ability to
Yeah.
woo people, to manipulate people. There's a lot
Mhm.
of insecurities in him because he wouldn't listen to what they said about his girl, this and that. Some insecurities in there. And let's be frank, there's a
Mhm.
whole lot of white privilege in there. And I guarantee you my man's was racist as hell. But they acting like he
Yeah.
was cool, and I'm like, you racist, bro. You know you racist.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say so. Also, you see like a class thing there too, where
Yep.
Eddie is, in trailer parks,
Good point.
he's not well off at all. And then the other guy, just, rich white guy. Uh,
Affluent as hell.
yeah. So I do like how they did that. But then we see just Eddie be such a loving and caring character that we didn't want to see him go. And I was so glad when that fucking captain died. I was so happy. I was so happy. I was like, yeah.
There's an old saying,
Mhm.
when the chickens come home to roost. You know what that's from?
What's that from?
It's Malcolm X. And so a
Oh.
lot of people don't like that thing, right? Because he talked, that's when shit was getting real and people were starting to mess things up and riot and all that stuff. And he said, chickens coming home to roost now. And so
Mhm.
it's advocating for violence or just saying, you reap what you sow.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I don't know if it really happens in the real world like that, where these people get caught up and in trouble. I feel like it's a lot of the Eddies that end up getting caught up, not a lot of the other boy.
Well, and that's where we see it at the end, is that they all think that Eddie is the serial killer still slash Satan worshiper because they're playing D&D. But yeah, I mean, technically we do see that in the show. Is like, for us, we get to see like the back end of everything and be like, oh wow, this guy was messed up, this guy wasn't. But yeah, like to them, they still think that Eddie was like a murderer who killed all these people in the town, and they can't change that because who's going to believe them when they
Now,
say that stuff? Nobody.
yeah, because
Um,
like you said, poor trailer park, crazy hair, Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah,
So you could say that's our neurodivergent kids. Dungeons and
yeah.
Dragons, anime, kind of dresses weird and funny, earrings, colored hair.
Hmm.
They're not going to believe you. As
Right.
much as like this other prestigious individual that's like shiny.
Yeah. Who only has built their reputation out of just, I guess, conformity, right? And we're kind of getting back to that, is like they conformed and now everybody believes them. Um, all these other people, they don't get a chance to really say their piece.
They're
Yeah.
outcasts. They're outsiders. They're outside the box,
Hmm.
and which is what we say a lot of neurodivergent individuals, a lot of people that bully picked on.
Right.
It's an intense story arc with him.
It
Also,
is.
should be noted is that people, studies been done. People that go through a lot of trauma end
Mhm.
up being the most empathetic individuals. End up having more ability to empathize
Right.
and to care and to love. And some of these other folks haven't really been through a lot. I'm not saying that I want you to go through trauma and bad things or little traumas, but you can tell who's been through some stuff and who hasn't been through some stuff because there's a deeper level of care and compassion. So there's this guy, I think even you brought it up. Oh, it was Colin. There's this well, I think he's a white boy, I don't know. He goes on YouTube, TikTok, and it gives people like he asks people for money.
Yeah.
He
Mr.
asks,
Beast or
yeah,
is it Mr.
no, not
Beast?
Mr. Beast. Nope, that's a different
Oh.
dude. This white guy, he asks people, hey man, you give me some change, man, so any type of money, and they'll give him these poor people will give him some money, or a kid will give him some money, and then he'll give him 10 grand back.
Mm.
He's like, hey man, I'm actually doing really good. I'm like recording this. Here's like $1,000. God bless you.
Right.
And so you're right. These people, studies have shown that people with less, homeless people, people with less, will give you more than anyone else
Because they've been through it.
They've been
They
through
know
it. It's
tough.
empathy. They'll share the sandwich. A starving person that's known starvation will share their sandwich before a fat and wealthy individual. Some really cool studies about that. One could say maybe that's why we stay like having no money and no food or whatever, but I don't think that's the world that we live in. I think that we're talking about empathy.
Yeah.
People that have been struggled. People that struggle don't want others to struggle.
Right.
Oh, random thing. Just saw something and then we'll get back to the pod. They were showing these statistics when it comes to like people wanting to help the poor. So they did some polls and it said wanting money for the poor, wanting to help the poor. And it was like 90%, 78% of people agreed. But it said welfare. And it was like 20% agreed. Just the terminology, because they're one and the same. I'm not ashamed to admit that I was on food stamps pretty much my entire life.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shame pulling out the bridge card or the EBT card, food stamp card, whatever. There's a lot of shame in getting reduced lunch and stuff like that.
Right.
And so it was interesting. People say they want to help other individuals, but then when you name it certain things, or you put like his black folk or brown folk on it, or like single moms, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting stuff. A little off topic, but I was just trying to talk about empathy and giving and stuff like that, and then socioeconomic with Eddie. Last thing, I told you I don't remember Eddie having bio parents. Like I didn't really hear the backstory about him, his biological parents. We just know that he lives with his uncle in a trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. I would assume they either like just gave him up or died, because since his uncle's kind of in the trailer parks, you'd think like maybe they just kind of gave him up or something like that.
Who knows? All I know is that I mean that's not it happens, but it's not what happened to the rich point guard.
Yeah.
So right, you see a lot of different things where Eddie's working from down here and the other guy's working from way up here 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
But Eddie's the piece of shit.
That's true.
Hey, in the parents' eyes, I might have thought the same too. I don't know. I'm just, hindsight's 2020. But
right,
Eddie was a good person. Just because you come from the gutter doesn't mean that you are gutter.
Well, and then also you saw a lot of people just all of a sudden join in. Like I said, it's like that mob mentality.
People love to hate.
You got to do that. Well, and then also they don't want to go against other people. They don't want to go against the trend, right? Or else they're going to be looked at as outcasts as well. And then they're going to be like, nobody's going to listen to them. So
a lot of studies
that's why
done on
a lot
that
of people
too.
do that. Yeah, I bet. Let's get to the rock scene. Let's get to the rock. That was probably one of the most metal scenes I've ever seen.
It was
in my life.
Yeah, when I was watching it with the lights off and the music blaring, like it was intense
like,
compared to watching just now on the laptop. But yeah, it was intense.
I know. Yeah, when me and Down first watched it, we were just like, just head banging.
I told you, I was like, I'm ready to run through a wall, motherfucker. Let's go. I'm like, I'm about to mess a bat up.
Motherfucking vampires, bro.
I wish a bat would fly up on me. Ow. Yeah.
I'll grab my guitar. I swear to God.
Yeah. Where my ukulele at, motherfucker?
You're just gonna sing Over the Rainbow.
Oh my damn. Yeah.
You fucking Polynesian looking motherfucker.
Yeah, he can get it too.
Oh my God.
Whatever gets you hype, man. It was I was geeked up. Like, yeah. I wanted to lift something heavy or run through a wall, conquer the world. Someone was getting stabbed. I was laying down on my pillow like, yeah.
Jesus. God, I would have prayed for Pops or Salim if they would have walked in.
I passed the knife off to one of my teddy bears to hide the shank and all this shit. I'm like, am I in prison?
Oh my God.
Yep.
Hey, take this dog.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, I never listened to Metallica before.
Yeah.
And then this made me want to get into listening to them because
Yeah, for real.
I can get into like that hard metal stuff, but not usually. Because it's usually a little bit too much for me. But this was like perfect where it was just like that guitar with
and I like some rock too. And I should have Pops listen to this. I know he knows that song. Because he listens to stuff like that all the time in the car, and he'll be jamming out. And then I'll put on like one of my songs loud. And he's like, "Turn this off! I'm angry."
I want anger. I want it.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to check some of that out for my next lift tomorrow. Yeah.
Master of the Puppets. That's a song.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. It's already kind of scary.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, Master. I don't like puppets now.
I don't like them.
Unless
the strings.
Yeah.
No strings on me. I'll tell you that.
Did you see a Muppet running through?
Oh my God. You should just do that. You know what? You need to dress up as a Muppet. One of these for Halloween. Should. Miss Piggy. You fucking piece of shit.
Jesus. I kill it though. Yeah, look back at it.
I can wear some heels.
No, give me an excuse to wear the Grouch. Not the Grouch. Yeah. Who's in the trash
Oscar
can?
the Grouch.
Oscar? Yeah.
That's Sesame Street, but you know, hey, who's got
Oh, damn, I was way off. It's one of
They're
them.
both puppets. They're both puppets.
Yeah. Back to the rock scene. So, like you said, Spence, that was when they were trying to distract all the bats. And then, they're flying at him and he's doing the countdown 30 seconds, 10, 15, all that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good explanation of what we just talked about during Hardball again. Like, when anxiety's hitting, whenever's hitting, right, you put the music on, you kind of can zone out, do your thing, and you self-soothe, you regulate.
Yeah.
I also thought about it's a good representation when the bats are coming, is that fear and anxiety. Like you're trying to stave it off, and that's the demon,
right?
The demigorgon, right? It's coming for you. That's what they are, right? Those things, those bats are coming for you, they're going to suck the life out of you.
I also thought that with this scene, it was sometimes you can just tell when motherfucker's about to die.
I didn't know he was going to die.
I could kind of guess it because a lot of the times with especially new characters, with old characters too, they act so likable and they're like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get back to, like, especially in like old war movies, like in Vietnam, they're like, yeah, I can't wait to get back to my wife. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great time. And then they immediately get shot.
Man, I love my children, dog. Bloop.
Why?
Bro.
But yeah, so it was such a great scene that you're like, oh no. That's why I thought Hopper was going to die. I was telling you earlier because he was about to sacrifice himself for the Demigorgon. And I thought, I was like, oh, they're actually going to kill him this time.
Yep.
But they actually saved him. They're like, nah, we killed enough characters for this episode.
I like how they story arced it where everyone, they showed all these little things on how everyone technically was going to get out of it. She grabbed that electrical thing and everyone else was like getting out of things somehow. But then they made it seem like everyone was going to die, and then everyone got out of it. And when her arms broke, I'm like, oh shit, she can live with broken arms. That's good. And then she said she was blind. I'm like, damn.
Like, she ain't gonna live.
And Eddie, I figured, miraculously, he'd be fine. He'd get a couple bites and, be good.
The motherfuckers were gnawing on him for a minute. They were gnawing on him for a while.
Hey man, the buffet open, dog. Close it down, brother. Yeah.
Damn, this long haired motherfucker tastes good.
Yeah, we got those winter white ones this time, boy. It's all breast meat.
It's a little bit healthier.
Yeah. This is before antidepressants, so they was getting that organic meat.
Oh my god! Like they were just getting high, just smoking weed.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's that good THC.
Like, them bats were just getting high as shit. Like, whoa.
That's why it took him so long to eat his ass. R.I.P. dog. R.I.P.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah. That's that Sammy Sosa thing. I don't know. He be doing
all right. Jesus Christ. Right. He's white now. So let's talk about Eddie's death scene.
Damn.
I know. Why don't you start it off since you just said that?
Oh, all right. Story arc for me, you're right. I didn't like him in the first scene that he was shown. Because he looked like he was getting attention. Then immediately when he tried to help the girl out and it was like, we're talking to her, trying to help her regulate her emotions and stuff like that. Right. And then, he's like, I can sell you the bud. And then she dies. And then he goes into hiding and people are chasing him. And he's like, all I do is run. All I do is run. I'm like, dog, that's the only choice you had. Like,
yeah, I know.
What else did you do? You can't do anything. She literally got her head twisted in front of you. Like that would make most people go insane.
No one would believe him.
No one. So you dipped. I'm cool with it. And then they meet him in the forest and like, hey man, we got to do this. Like this is a Dungeons and Dragons thing. We got to do this. And he's like, let's do it. And so he manned up then. He talked about when they jumped in that boat and he's like, I wasn't coming in to save you because your homegirl ran in for you and she loves you. I went in because of the shame.
Right.
I went in because of the shame. So he's still very insecure, very much a runner, self-preservation. I'm technically kind of cool with it.
Yeah.
And then the rock scene, which is scary as hell. And then he cuts the bed sheet. He stays in the trailer. He's like, I ain't running no more, G. And then I'm going to chase these bats and buy y'all some time. So he starts riding his bike, falls off the bike, starts fighting the bats, turns around, right, gets his shield, starts kicking some ass. And then, eventually he gets succumbed by the bats. And he's looking up at dude. What's dude's name? The chubby dude with the teeth?
It's not Chomper. It's Chomper.
Jesus. Oh, toothless.
Let me see 1 second. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Yep.
No dead air here. No dead air. Stranger Things. His name is Dustin.
Dustin. There we go. So Dustin wants to, hey man, I got you. And he limps over there, looks him in the eye. And he say, hey man, I didn't run. And pretty much saying like, aren't you proud of me, man? He also really loved Dustin. And he said, I loved you at the end. And he wanted Dustin to know that I'm your mentor. I took you under my wing. I love you. This is how you are. This is how you act as a man. You stand and fight for the things that you want to fight for and the people that you love. And so he set a good example. He wasn't going to run anymore. And so he dies as a hero. He dies as someone that was flawed, that was traumatized, that has been through some stuff, but has a big heart. And he did his thing. And, hats off to him. Right. Sacrifices he made because he thought that was the right choice. I think that he died happy. He cried, but I think that he died happy knowing that he changed, he evolved.
Yeah. Totally.
Super sad. Super sad. When he says, I love you, man.
Not Eddie.
Yep. It was intense, and like even Eddie talked about it, how he was jealous of the other dude because Dustin was under his wing, and so he overcame a lot of different barriers and insecurities to get to that point.
Right.
Small story. I'm going to diverge real quick. Okay. It's fucked up, some people finally do good.
Mm-hmm.
They finally do good. They finally overcome, and then their life is maybe gone. Right? The world is unfair at times. Good people die. And it just happens. You never know. Good people get cancer, and things happen. Good people fail out. It happens. But he finally gets his life on track. Finally starts to man up, be vulnerable, get connected to people, and then he dies. And so things like that remind me of like my brother that passed out in Texas. Finally starts to do right by his wife, by his child, finally starts to get clean on some of the things he was doing and like working on his mental health, taking meds and stuff. And then, he drowns on a holiday when he was like swimming with his family. It's fucked up, man. Life is fucked up sometimes. And so sometimes even good people or people that were flawed and they finally do the right stuff to get healthy. It's tough. I got clients that tell me that shit all the time, man. I remember working with one specific. She looked at me. And we got her sober. We got her to like start respecting herself, start being like monogamous and in a healthy relationship, somewhat healthy. She's like, Nas, this is bullshit. I said, what's up? She said, you got me out here not drinking, not acting out. I'm playing basketball. I'm working out almost every day of the week. I'm going to sleep. And I'm fucking miserable. Why did I do this? At least when before I was drunk and I was loaded up and I was having a good time. I'm like, you're doing so much better now. And you're like, nah, man, all the bullshit's coming now. In my head, it's all coming back. I said, you got to stay the course. You're doing good. They ended up stopped working with me for a little bit. Because they didn't want to keep coming back to my office because they wanted to relapse in some things. And they ended up coming back and they had their tail between their legs, this and that. We worked on some stuff. We got them back up to where they needed to be. Eventually they did graduate. But to see them like clean and working on their life and doing their thing, man, all they needed was a better partner in this one situation. They would have been solid. But they did all these good things because they thought that their partner was going to respect them more and do better by them. That person wasn't no good. And so even though she did better, the result, and she was a good person. Good person. I can tell people are good people because she treated my brother very good too when she's seen him on campus. Very good. Right. But sometimes when you do good stuff, bad stuff happens. And it's sad. And I remember her being so angry at me for pushing her towards these goals. Like, girl, these were your goals. But bad things happen sometimes. And sometimes they don't work out. And me and you know this. We push for things and go on interviews and relationships and all types of shit, right? Shit don't always work out. And for Eddie, didn't work out. But maybe it did work out. Also, Spence talking about he might be a motherfucking vampire soon. So, who knows? He coming back.
I wish. I hope they do that.
Vampires in Harlem.
I don't like it. I actually just watched that. It's pretty good, actually. I was like, oh, that's actually a good movie. Eddie Murphy had some good, off topic, Eddie Murphy had some good, like, non-mainstream movies.
Eddie Murphy had some really good old movies, man. Back in the day, his stuff was really good.
Boomerang. Dom loved Boomerang when we watched that with Halle Berry. All them. Great movie.
That's some stuff.
Yeah, I know. And I wish people would know more about it. Oh, well. It's too old for me. Oh,
it's too old.
I don't like black films.
Back to the white people.
I know. Let's get back to this white guy who died. I think that I love the fact that Eddie was just like the D&D group is now your group and you have to look after them and
You're right.
Have to, I love it. That was a great part too, where he was still thinking about, even as he's dying, he's still thinking about that group and how now Dustin has to take care of them and be the one, because now he knows that Dustin is Like, I don't
Ready.
think it's just because he's there. He actually does see him
Mhm.
as his predecessor, as somebody who can herd people and kind of help them grow,
Yep.
and make sure that they're on the right track. Because I think that's what Eddie did a lot with the D&D group. He was trying to get people to have a certain mindset and not just conform to other people, but be themselves too.
And have a community.
Yeah, and that's where we saw with Lucas, who wanted to be more on like the basketball team, be popular, didn't want to be in the D&D group anymore because they're looked as weirdos. And we have those people all the time that do that stuff, especially growing up. You just have so many people that act differently around other people. And you're like, what's wrong with you? What happened there?
Yep.
Definitely had plenty of people in my life where they're cool with me for 1 second, and then all of a sudden as soon as other people show up, they're like, well, sorry, I'm gonna put this mask on and see you never.
I got a
It's a
story for
terrible
that
thing.
one. Yeah, one of my
Go for it.
boys was living in Lansing for a couple of years playing ball because we had got recruited, made one of the best friends ever in my life. Loved this kid to death.
Mm,
So I moved to
mm,
Saginaw because we ran out of money. We moved back into my
right.
mama's spot, me and my pops, and so we damn near adopted his ass and brought him to Saginaw with us to play ball, right?
Right.
Because he would have some money, work, this and that, right? Instead of just being at his mom's. But, he played at his school, at my old school, Lansing Sexton. I played at Arthur Hill. And then I remember going to holler at him when he was in college. And he
Mm,
was always the nicest, soft-spoken kid, coolest kid, man. And then he changed. He went to a different
mm,
college. He got around some dudes, was doing some buffoonery. You
mm,
know, he hits me up. Or I ended up finding out, he was in an armed robbery. And they like beat
mm,
this lady up with a gun. And he was the getaway driver. I'm like, damn, bro. And I remember
mm.
going to the college and I was acting goofy with him and funny with him. Like, no, man, stop that. I'm like, what? You ain't never told me to stop messing with you or clowning around ever. He's like, no, man, chill. I'm like, the fuck? I don't give a fuck about this dude right here.
Right.
But he's like, no, you need to calm that down. I seen that change.
Yeah.
The buffoonery. I said, I seen it, the thuggery.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, right? He got out of that trouble, right? He was locked up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He got 2 beautiful daughters now. They're doing well. He's married. Life ended up good.
Right.
Life ended up good, but still, I seen that change, and I was so depressed and sad when he got locked up. I was like, God, I felt like I was, I could have did more.
Right.
But in actuality, you can't. But like you said, you've
No.
seen it. I've seen it. People get around certain people, bro. They change.
I hate it. That's why I feel lucky, because I feel like the people around me don't do that at all. They actually bring me to other people that I can actually, connect with
Yep.
and things like that. My boy, Cleo, he knew him since high school. Always been the same dude. We always talk about basketball, shoes, TV, all that fun stuff. And we go to concerts together. And he actually showed me to some of his boys. They're Asian and they're just goofy, love playing
Nice.
basketball, love talking shit. And we actually just had a grad party with them where I brought Dom, and it was a fun time. And I'm
There you
really
go.
glad that, I'm able to have friends that can actually help me pass along with these other people that are just like me, right?
Yep.
And that's why I feel lucky, especially, you, Dom, all these people that like y'all, you don't try to put me around people that I'm not gonna like.
No.
Because I'm very opinionated when
Yeah.
it comes to people.
The only time we got a little sketchy is that Colin's baby shower thing.
Oh yeah.
But that was because of other buffoons, though. The other guys we were cool with that were first there.
Oh yeah.
And then as the buffoons started coming out, then it got a little weird.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
But that wasn't our normal crew, right? The normal
Right.
crew was a couple of other guys and then Moses that came later, but he was
Right.
tired because he just got off duty.
Yeah, no, Moses was cool. I mean, he didn't
Cool.
really talk much, but yeah, he was
He's
cool.
tired.
Dude. Yeah.
I know my boy Marco out in Germany. Hopefully we get a chance to meet him.
Mhm.
He does it all the time too because he's super, super goofy. But then he actually like Mr. Smooth, Mr. Suave, Mr. Ladies Man. And I'm like, dude, calm down, bro. Like, how many women you need, man?
All
But that's
of
just his
them.
personality. All for real. I'm not gonna get into it, but like, it's
That's
bad.
funny. That's funny, man.
Uh,
Yeah. Do you have
give,
anything else on this scene?
well, so for you,
Yeah.
did you, I didn't know he was getting ready to die. So you knew he was getting ready to die. Were you
I
already
felt
starting?
like he was going to die.
Okay. And then when he actually did die, were you starting to
Yeah.
get choked up when he was passing, or like when it was final and then he was dead?
I think once he was talking, no, it was definitely when he was talking. I hate motherfuckers who give like the last word, and especially when they start crying and shit. I'm just like, oh, you motherfuckers. That's what happened with Tony Stark when he
Yeah.
died. When he was starting to die, I was like, but I've said this before, but the big scene that really got me almost to like really tear up was when Lucky, when he was talking to Stark's daughter,
Yeah.
and she was like, I want some hamburgers. He's like, your dad liked hamburgers. I was like, oh.
Jesus. I can't do it.
That
No.
was so sad. And then he started getting choked up. This big John Favreau just getting choked up. But yeah, for me, when he said, I didn't run away, I was like, oh my fucking God. It was just so sincere.
It was.
And you felt it.
He was proud. He was proud.
And you're like, why did he have to die?
I told you, man, it's not fair.
No.
You
There were
finally.
plenty of characters I was like, they could probably die, and I don't care.
Yeah. You can kill all these little boys out here. All these little boys. That little girl right there.
Yeah, that little one, the bald one, I don't really care.
Yeah, the little fat one. Yep.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, actually Dustin, who has the front teeth removed, he has like this I don't know if it's a disease, but he has like something up with like his mouth,
some
like
jaw
his
disorder.
mouth.
Yep.
Yeah, jaw disorder. And then like he doesn't like grow as big as like other people. I don't think. I think he's been like the same height for a while.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, if you look at like from like the first season to now, he hasn't really grown up that much.
He's a different character. He's different. Yep. His body type and all that, where everyone else is like just growing like weeds, just sprouting.
I know. All of them are getting so fucking tall.
Yeah, I know. It's like, damn, what are y'all eating in the upside down?
Can y'all slow down over there?
Yeah. Y'all eating in Indiana now. Yep. Yeah, it was an intense scene.
It was.
Man, and the death scenes, I feel like we end up doing a lot of death scenes on the pod because they end up being emotional things that we could talk about.
Yeah.
This one, we want to talk about Eddie. So let's move into some therapizing.
All right.
So we could say that there's going to be a higher rate of neurodivergent or nerdy kids. We would say neurodivergent kids in D&D, different clubs like this type of vibe. Like the fantasy, the creativity, that's something that is attracted and drawn for us. It's usually a safe place where people can talk and be with each other. That's not very overstimulating. He talks about conformity and he's not about that. He wants people to be themselves. So, right, again, be more comfortable, be super weird. I thought he was going to be an asshole when the black dude's sister like went in there and she was like talking shit. I know this, and this, and this, and he's like, "You're in."
Yeah, you're one of us.
Pretty cool. That's how I knew he was like a good dude, man.
Yeah.
And then you move forward to like his story arc, like we talked of. He probably wouldn't have grown like this if not for the drama that he went through, the drama / trauma / growing pains. Like he needed to be pushed to get to that final stage.
Right.
So I'm going to bring up this. How can we use his story to help others on this pod? No, don't cower, don't run, don't always avoid these things that make you anxious. As I tell many of my clients, I don't want you to run away from it. I need you to go through it. Like the only way to actually do this, to get to the other end, is we have to go through it. I need you to make these steps. I need you to start talking to these people. I need you to actually go on some dates. I need you to sit down in that place that makes you anxious. I need you to take off your headphones in this one area maybe learn a couple of the customers' names and start having some reciprocal conversations, and then go back to your corner. We need to start learning and growing in some of these social situations. The phobias, we need to slowly start doing some exposure therapy and also granting yourself some grace. You need to start moving towards uncomfortability. Your comfort zone is not where you're going to grow. Being uncomfortable. Eddie was uncomfortable pretty much the entire season. And he grew so much, and he started internalizing and thinking about things. And he talked to that other white dude. He's like, "Hey, with the one with the hair, the nice hair."
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey man, I don't like you. I'll be flat out, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Dustin thinks you're cool, this and that. I'm jealous about it, right? Your girls, all the girls like you. You're kind of the it guy. I don't fuck with you. You a punk." And, what are you gonna say?
I just think that, well, even Steve, that's who you're talking about.
Steve. Okay.
Even he had a lot of growth since the first season. He was a dick.
Yep. A lot of growth.
He was that bully. But then once he finally saw something that he's never really been through before, which is, I think, like an actual struggle for his life, he actually changed and finally became like an actual good dude.
Gives you a different perspective, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a different perspective. Yeah. And so I'm talking about Eddie changing, because I believe all of us can change.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, "Once a dog, always a dog." Well, calm down now, people. Calm down now, ladies. Calm down. It's true, though. I'm joking.
As you have a dog on your shirt.
Yeah. I think it's a wolf. It's a wolf? It's a wolf.
It's a dog, whatever.
Whatever. It's a canine. Everyone has the ability to start changing some of their mental health things, to start changing their circumstances, to start expecting better for yourself, for others, loving yourself more. There's small steps that you need to start taking to getting to some of this stuff, so you feel congruent in your life and the depression starts to fade. So having a conversation with a human today, I'm like, most counselors, they would just validate your emotions right now and then kind of sit in that sadness. I'm like, okay, I did that. You cried. And I almost cried. But now what are we going to do to get out of this?
Right.
There needs to be some worth out of these tears. We need to get something out of this moving forward, because I don't want you just to sit in this forever, because I don't want you to fail out of school. You're getting ready to graduate. We need to go. Some of my clients, I'll send them an email or they'll send me something. I'll be like, okay, Blunt Nas says this, and this, and this. The counselor loving empathy Nas is like, oh, it's fine. Like, this, it's all the lovey-dovey stuff. You can read whatever one you want, but this is both of them.
Right.
Some of my clients like that. I thought one client was going to literally cuss me out when I've seen them the next week. And they're like, no, I loved it. I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. So start working and pushing through some of the things, folks. All these characters that you love in Stranger Things have all grown massively. They've all changed massively. None of us are the same person that we used to be 3-4 years ago, 2-3 months ago. You're just not. So you've already changed a lot. Think about how much more you could change if you actually start trying to.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about with Eddie. Good story arc.
Great story arc. So we usually have this question, like the what if, like what if you had this person? If you had Dustin just went through all this trauma, even more than he's usually been through, saw like a friend die, all that stuff. How would you kind of counsel him through this grief that he's going through?
If you take away all the Stranger Thing upside down stuff, it's going to be tough just in general. Probably a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, a lot of contemplating suicide or death or existence. What's the meaning? What's the purpose? Right. So it's a lot of the stuff that we talked about in the last Stranger Things with Vecna. But this would be on a more empathetic and like losing your focus on things than the sociopathy.
Right.
You attach the Stranger Things to that. There's no way any of these humans make it out of this with like minds that are not mush. Just no way. They'd be so traumatized, all these people. They would be medicated, hospitalized. if they did tell someone about this stuff, they would be institutionalized for that, for being delusional.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so it'd be tough. But for him, let's say if everything was normal, no upside down, and he just watched his friend die like that, mess you up for life.
Yeah.
I'll just be honest. And I would probably get that client to accept that. Like, you're going to be different the rest of your life.
Right.
And I don't think that you need to avoid from some of those emotions. They switched grief now. There's a different disorder. It's like long-term grief that can last eons and eons. Sitting with them. With a lot of my clients, man, they go through that grief. Their parents just died, siblings just died, right? Or they just got cancer in the past. There ain't no therapizing it, bro. It's just kind of sitting in it. And then and we come back every week to make sure that they keep their head on straight and they do what they got to do, or we take a leave of absence. Grief is a tough one, brother. But making sure that they don't lose focus completely of the goal. And we can write letters to our loved ones, and we can pray. We can do some meditations. We can do gratitude things, and I can make people start bawling and crying almost instantly with some of the gratitude like letters for the past ones that I've went on. Sometimes I'll have them finish what they wanted to say. So maybe Dustin didn't get to say his piece, like how much he loves him, appreciates him, and all that stuff. I would have Dustin write that out.
Okay.
Write it out. Just fold it up, put it somewhere, burn it, but like write it out. That way it's gone. I would tell him to be cautious in isolating himself from people because it's such a big pain that he might not ever want to be in that pain again unless he could push people away.
Right.
If it was a friend, or let's say like your wife that died, your partner that died. So it just depends on the context. Grief is a son of a bitch. Right, you want to contemplate your existence. This is intense. Like when all my students' parents were catching COVID, bro, they was going through some shit. Yeah, like even when your family caught some COVID, you're like,
yeah,
yeah. So just that can freak someone out. So you already know it. It's just supporting and showing up. It's one thing that you always talk about that you try to perfect is showing up. Like you say you need me, and like I said, I'm going to be there. You show up.
Yeah.
Shit's actually not that hard to support someone and to love someone like that. Therapizing, a little bit of that, and then making sure that they're safe, helping them process and finish out some stuff. That way it's not like left alone. And then slowly start moving past it and building a life past it. Being respectful. Checking in every once in a while just to make sure they're not triggered by certain things. I did with a client recently. I said, hey, man, this person got sick. And like, I remember this other person that passed in the summer. Did this trigger any of this other stuff? And they're like, oh, no, I'm smooth. I didn't even think about that. I was all right, just making sure. Just making sure. Yeah, happens. Had a lot of people lose a lot of people, man. You'd be surprised. People that lose animals, they end up being real fucked up too.
Not surprised, yeah.
Cats and dogs, dude, it's bad.
A lot of the time they treat them just like people.
People, you've had them for 5 to 15, 20 years.
And their support system, like...
all positive.
Yeah. So...
it's not like it's your sister and you're like, I hate you, bitch.
Yeah, I just did that yesterday. Today, I'll say it right now, I don't give a fuck.
Funny side note. Slim goes, Spencer just wished his sister a happy birthday. I said, he ain't wished his sister no happy birthday. And then he showed me the picture and I was like, oh yeah, that's his homegirl. Yeah, it's like pretty much family. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, I don't understand. I was like, yeah, forget it. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. Real sisters can go somewhere else.
My sister's actually pretty cool. She's just a basket head. Love her to death though.
No, I feel nothing.
Yeah, I know.
I feel nothing.
You got the Vecna vibes over there?
Pretty much. I was like, oh, this is similar.
Yeah. I just see a spider.
Spiders.
Yeah.
Be my friend.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably where I go with that, man. With grief. Tough one. So anyone going through grief, make sure that they don't self-isolate. Reach out. Reach out. Even if they push you away, reach out. Show up. Check on them. Make sure that they're people that deal with the fallout. Check on them, individuals as well. And then if you're a counselor or you're providing that support, make sure that you're smooth too, because that shit will affect you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Eddie and Dustin, it's intense. What was the girl's name that died in the next scene?
Wasn't it
The redheaded girl?
Max? That was
This
it,
Max?
Max. I was like, I remember. Yep.
Yeah, dude,
Max.
that I told you I want to tell people on the pod, like when she broke her arms, I thought she'd be smooth and she'd be fine. Then she was blind. I'm
Yeah.
like, I almost was like, she can't see, she can't no body. I was like, I actually kind of hope
She's
she
like, I
dies.
can't feel anything.
Yeah, I was like, girl, she's just a husk now. I'm like, I didn't want that life for her.
I know.
I was so
And then once
terrified.
11 like went into her mind and there was nothing
Blank.
there, you're like,
I'm
but
like,
you know she's gonna be back somehow.
I know.
Somehow. I don't know how, but somehow.
Somehow
she's
she'll probably
lost.
be in the demigorgons or whatever, like her essence. I don't know.
Maybe she could be like a demigorgon, and then one of them's friendly and be like, "Uh-oh, that's
Who
Max."
knows? Or maybe she'll be like some type of mind flayer in this Upside Down. I just know that
She'll probably
scene,
come back with powers, but that's
I'm
my
thinking
guess.
so too. Yeah. I'm thinking she's gonna have some type of powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her and the boy probably still be weird.
I know, so weird. Just
Even
like, hi.
Even though they love each other. It's just like, why do all you love each other, but all of you act like you don't love each other? Like, God damn it.
I know, especially Mike and 11. Just, it's like, I hated that scene so much when she was in the bathroom. He was like, I love you. It's like, didn't you just fucking say it already?
Well, when she was in the pizza dough thing, are you talking about
Yes.
earlier? Okay, yeah, that
No,
was
the
I was
pizza
so
dough.
not needed.
I was like, can you just say it?
Will or
Really?
Mike or whatever, he was like, yeah, you're the heart. I'm like, oh, so now whatever. Okay.
You're the heart. Shut the fuck.
I was like, can we just get to where the dude was making the pizza again? FYI, the Native American dude is hilarious. He plays the same
he
character in
Native American?
every show. Yeah, he's Native.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays the same character in every show, just high as hell.
Just high and just the funny guy.
He's a new
High
age
funny guy.
Cheech and Chong. It's new age.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Also, Will, we all know Will. Just come out, bro.
I thought
It's
he
okay.
did.
Did he actually come out? I don't think he like said it.
No,
I don't think he
not
said-
not in the show. In real life, he came out.
Oh, I didn't know he was actually gay.
I might be mistaken. I thought he actually came out in real life.
Maybe. I have no
Yep.
idea. I thought in the show he was like his brother and him had like a thing where
I
they were
was
just
hoping to God that he came out right there. That actually I cried in that scene. That was a good scene.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay.
Because they were like, I love you, man.
We grew apart.
Yeah. Because that's all you really need, man. Sometimes is just someone to like acknowledge you.
Yeah.
That was a sad
true.
season for Will, dude. He was so neglected and on the outskirts of everything.
Can we be honest? Will always gets fucked up in this season. Every season, there's something up with him. First season, he gets captured by the Demigorgons. Second season, he's getting mind flared. And then third season, I think they actually went a little bit light on the third season.
Yeah, he
Maybe.
just had some
I
neck
can't
stuff and like he can feel things. This
Yeah.
season, you just get treated like trash.
Yeah. Well, and because, he's kind of being like, Mike, hey, I love you, bro. And Mike's not ready to hear that. He's not, because he can't even say I love you to 11. So,
Yep. And then
He ain't
God, that
ready
one
to do
scene where he's like, "Well, it's not my fault you don't like women," and I was like, "Jesus Christ, bro, that was uncalled for."
I know Mike is turned into a real dick.
Yep.
I didn't like Mike this season. He just seemed like such an asshole.
Immature.
Yeah. But then it's like, you see all of his other friends kind of maturing and being, going up, and then he's kind of like, well, my girlfriend has powers, so I can't do anything. But you're the heart. You're the heart.
The heart of us, bro.
I
The
want to
heart.
throw my remote at his face.
Yeah.
Shut
Eddie,
up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I think she might have upped you in the death thing right after that. I'm sorry. It's what it is.
Yeah. But the only reason why she upped him was because she went blind.
She
The
went
only thing.
full disabled. It was terrible.
Yeah, so fully disabled, and she was going through it like her brother died and being
Yeah.
tormented by that, and
Yeah.
Vecna just bringing it all back.
So much trauma. She had a rough season.
But that was like, so you could see through all the seasons, there was all like these different types of, I guess, themes going on. I think more. This one was all about just trauma.
It was
Just
shame,
it was
trauma,
all trauma and shame.
guilt. Yep.
Yeah. And I forgot what the other ones, because I remember there was like a post about it, but Vecna, he just like keeps on changing his style of doing things. Like it's like fear, and then just
This, that,
taking over will, and then now it's all about trauma. I can't wait to see where they go for the next season.
I have no idea. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be intense. Good show. I didn't think I would like season 3 and season 4. I just watched them. I didn't think I would like them that much. And turns out they were quite magnificent. So I'm excited for season 5. We'll launch some reels. I got a bunch of reels ready to go for the entire show after these 2 pods come out. So not just these clips, but a bunch of other clips. And it should be exciting. Should be a good time for the pod.
Yes. So on that note, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you watching, and please hit the like button and subscribe, follow. Also, share and comment. We want you to do it all. Just a little bit. We want. Jesus. My name is Spencer. That's Nazir, and this is the Different Spectrums podcast.
Much love. Peace.
Bye.
Oh, I just had a